Well, hello there, everybody, and welcome back to another Hookster Talks with me and Mr. TB the Bear, everyone's favourite bear. Look at him, look, he's a sexy bear. Look, he's a What's that? Star Trek? What the hell's that? Never heard of it. He's a sexy bear. Look at him. Yes, TB the Bear. I all love you, TB. Yes, even though you're naked. You're naked. Yes, you are, aren't you? Yes, it's getting a little bit cold. You better put some clothes on soon, otherwise you'll catch pneumonia. Yes. Anyway, hello everyone, and welcome along to another Hookster Talks, another hour and a half of total lunacy from me. Yes, indeed. Let's go to the chat and see if anyone's actually joined us at this very early stage. Where is my chat? I've lost it. I've lost my chat. Oh, here it is, over here. Put that over there then, and we'll put the chat up here. Let's make that a little bit bigger. That's what she said. There we go. Put that up there. Put it over there a little bit. And put that down there a little bit. Yes. Do you know what? I'm gonna do a change. Yeah, I don't want you kids out there saying that the Hookster just can't adapt to change. I'm gonna flip it. Yeah, here we go. Are you ready for this? I'm gonna put that over that side, and I'm gonna put myself over this side. I know. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to there you go. Just to confuse everyone. What's happened to my chat? Why has it gone like, I'm not quite sure. It's gone all funny. No, it's okay, is it? All right then. Right, we'll leave it like that. Right, here we go. Hello. I've got to remember to look at the camera because I've moved it positions. It's up there now. I keep looking over there. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Oh, look, my chat suddenly sorted itself out. And welcome back to another Hookster Talks. Hello, Mr. Matthias SJ. He says peekaboo. I know someone else who does that. Yes. Here he is. Peekaboo. Shut up. Right. Hello, sir. Welcome to the stream. He says, happy spooky month, by the way. Yes, it is almost Halloween. And thank God I can finally get to take this mask off because I've had it on for... Anyway, let's move on. Hello, Mr. Helio Trophy. Welcome to the stream. He says, this should be good. Have to check what Prost said. Yes, that's coming right up. Hello, Mr. Shane Paul. Good evening, sir. Well, you joined me right at the start this time. I remember you were there right at the end, unfortunately. It's what she said. I've never been that lucky. Me neither, mate. Me neither. Okay. Now, Helium Trophy's mentioned it. So I'm going to... Now, I got this off of Twitter. So I have to say, this has not come from a reliable news source. So with that in mind, I have to say, this could be completely made up and bullshit. Okay? But... if he did say what this says, I took a screenshot of it. If he did say that, then I just thought it was quite funny. But as I say, I did get this this morning off of Twitter, so it may not have any relevance. I haven't actually looked up to see whether I could find the actual article myself. I just got this morning. So take it with a pinch of salt. He may not have said any of these words, but if he did, I just thought it was quite funny. Let's get the... picture up on my tablet. Right, 4 times champion Alan Prost's comments today. As I say, I have to mention that this was off Twitter, not a reliable news source or anything like that, so I can't confirm or deny whether he actually said any of these words. But I just read this and I thought, sounds pretty good. So this is what Alan Prost allegedly had to say. You can take Max Verstappen to a war and he'll win the title for you all alone. For Lando Norris, you need to give him a dominant car and team orders so he can fight for a title, and even then, he'll still fail. He's useless. So there you go. As I say, I can't confirm or deny that, but allegedly that's what Alan Prost comments said. I think that was yesterday. In fact, it says today, but it's got a day old on the Twitter post. So yesterday. So as I say, I can't confirm or deny. I will have a look in a minute and see if it's actually a real news article and whether we can expand on that to see whether he said any more. So let's just have a look here. I just wanted to read that out because I got it off the Twitter this morning. Prost on Lando Norris. Here we go. We have got the article in question. Let me put that over there. There it is. I will make myself smaller. Put myself just above the chat, in fact. Alan Prost severely. This is from gpnews.net. Not quite sure about gpnews.net, so I can't sort of say whether they're a reliable source. It says John Matthews, seasoned motorsport journalist, but that's what they all say. But we'll read it anyway. Alain Prost severely criticises McLaren F1 driver Lando Norris amid recent performance. Alain Prost, after the United States Grand Prix weekend at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Lando Norris' chances of winning the F1 World Championship at the end of the season are growing slimmer. They certainly are. The Briton lost more points to Max Verstappen and once again didn't seem ready for a fight for the title until the end. Lando Norris is currently 57 points behind the Red Bull driver with 5 races and 2 sprint races left in the season. Mathematically, there's still a chance to close the gap, but it seems unlikely that the McLaren driver will have the strength to do so. Or the willpower. On several occasions, most recently at the start in Austin, the British driver has shown that he still needs to improve in certain areas before he can challenge an experienced driver like Max Verstappen for the Formula 1 title. Alain Prost also weighed in on the F1 title fight between Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. The 4 times world champion did not mince words describing what he'd seen in recent weeks. If we take Lewis Hamilton, he can go on track and win a champion. Now they're saying it was Lewis Hamilton that said that he's talking about Lewis Hamilton and not. So yeah, as I say, it's very difficult to believe sources when you see them on Twitter because there's so many lies going around on Twitter. I'm still calling it Twitter. I don't care if it's called X now. There's so many lies going around, so it's very difficult to see. So he was actually talking about Lewis Hamilton, not Max Verstappen there. But the words I think are basically the same underneath. He needs the best car. Yeah, so that was right, but that had been changed to Max Verstappen from Lewis Hamilton. So as I say, you can't believe what people say on Twitter. But anyway, that's pretty much what I said. So yeah, that's okay. So that's an official sort of post there. So he obviously did say that in the end about Lando Norris, and I thought that was quite. I thought that was. Good stuff for Mr. Alain Prost. Good stuff. There was a picture of him as well. I have to say, the old man, he's certainly getting on a bit. Is Mr. Alain Prost now? Good luck to him. I think he must be he's got to be in his 70s now, surely. Let's have a look. Alain Prost age. Oh, nearly there. He's 69. Yeah, that picture's not too bad of Alain Prost there. Because in his age now, the picture that I've got on my tablet, he looks very, very old. Very, very old indeed. But there you go. Look, the old guys. Look at all these old guys from Formula One's past. Nigel Mansell. He's 71 years old. Nelson Piquet is 72 years old. And Nico Prost is only 43 years old. But, oh my God. Oh my God. The old guys are just getting older and older and older. And the sad fact about that is that, in a few years' time, I'm going to say, within the next 10 years, we are going to start to lose some of these old guys from Formula One, some of the all-time greats. We're going to have, Prost, 69, next 10 years. I'm just saying for the next 10 years, he might live till he's 90, he could live till 100, but, just basically, average people's lifespans. Within the next 10 years, we are going to start losing some of these guys like Mansell and PK and, drivers like that, which is going to be a shame, but happens to us all. So there you go. Hello, Mr. Plynel Plessy. Welcome to the stream. I keep saying Plessy. Pessy. Congratulations to Charles Leclerc on winning the US Grand Prix. Yes, indeed. Charlie Boy Leclerc, like a sneaky little French... I'm not going to say the other word. I'm not going to say it, but like a sneaky little Frenchman. He sidled his way down the inside while Maxi Boy and Lando were having a gentleman's excuse me at the front, going, "Oh no, you go first. No, you go. No, please let me. No, I'm going first. No, let me." And Charles Leclerc saw this and went, "You know what? I'm just gonna sidle past all of you," and he did. He got into the lead and he held on to that lead for the whole of the race and won it, which is a really great achievement. Lots of times you're in a Grand Prix, you don't start in the lead, and you have to work your way out to that lead. But Charles did it from pretty much turn one straight into the lead, and he held on to it all the way through the Grand Prix to the end, and he won it. So what can you say? What can you say? A lot of people have opinions of Charles Leclerc. I myself don't rate him as one of the greats, but when he needs to, he's on it. He really is, and he's got it. And great to see Ferrari back in it again. I do like Ferrari. I mean, I don't, as everyone said, everyone's a Ferrari fan, and I think everyone needs to be honest. And it's great to see Ferrari back out there again. They've sort of been in the doldrums the last few races. We haven't really seen much of them, to be honest, but they were certainly back in Texas. Yeehaw! For the USA Grand Prix. There's going to be a lot of yeehaws because there's a lot of USA Grand Prix. This reminds me of a sort of Liberty Media mini championship, which is going on now until the last round, really, isn't it? Apart from Abu Dhabi, it's like a Liberty Media celebratory tour, isn't it? Going around all the American circuits that or as many as they can fit in before the end, anyway. And it's quite a big campaign, because as I say, we've got three back-to-backs. We've had one, so we've got two more. Then we got just one break in the middle, tiny little break of 2 weeks, and then we got another three head-to-heads, back-to-backs, I should say. Sorry, back-to-backs until Abu Dhabi. So yeah, it's a packed Formula One conclusion to the season. Don't know why they've done it like this, to be honest. It's going to be a very late finish to the Formula One season. One of the latest, I think, is going to finish. I think it's December the 8th is Abu Dhabi. I think it's December the 8th anyway. Very, very late finish to a season. We've had later ones. I think the 2021 during the COVID pandemic went on till I think the 12th of December, if I remember rightly. That was the last race, of course, because it was delayed by 6 months. They didn't even start it until July. And I managed to still cram in 17 races. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. 17 races from July in 2020. That is certainly a Formula One season that's going to go down in history. And I don't think I don't think in all our lifetimes it's ever going to happen again, because I can't see another pandemic. Despite what all the newspapers say, I can't see another pandemic happening for another 100 years. So, yeah, that's going to be a one-time thing that we've all seen in our lifetime. So that's, not saying that it was a good thing that happened. It certainly wasn't. Lots and lots of people died from COVID, of course. But, it's something that we have experienced. And even our children probably won't ever experience another pandemic again. Because I say, it seems to go in about 100-year cycles. So, yeah. One for the history books, and thankfully it seems to be, dissipating now, which is good news. It's always going to be around, unfortunately, but it's certainly not the threat that it was 4 years ago. And congratulations to Lando Norris on being penalised. Oh my God. I think I did it in my Monday video. I was just like, what are you doing, Lando? What are you doing? First of all, I kept saying to him, look, just pass Max, for God's sake. At one point, he got so close, and I just shouted out, pass him, you pussy! But he didn't. He didn't pass him. And I think that was lap 48, if I remember rightly. And then, you know, that incident, which, as I said in my video on Monday, so I don't want to go on and repeat myself, was just crazy. Absolutely crazy. It really was. There was just... Hang on, let me get rid of that now and put myself back over here. It was just crazy. And I heard after the race that Lando was already on his third cut track limits warning. Yes, I've had to say that word again, or that sentence again. Cut track limits. God. He was on his third warning before he did that move when he got past Max Verstappen. So he's already on third, as you know, 3 strikes and you're out. He was already on that warning. So there was no way on God's green earth he was going to get away with that. No way, Jose, was he going to get away with that move. And yet he was just, you know, different. I've said this on Monday. Different about, is that our place? Is that, should I do? And then the team came back. Oh well, we don't know, Lando. Just I don't know. Just keep going, mate. Yeah, just keep going. Keep smoking away, and you'll be all right, mate. And then the stewards had to decide on the penalty. It was supposed to be a 10-second penalty, but due to the fact that it was Lando Norris, they reduced it to 5. But yeah, it was just absolutely crazy. It really was. And I'll say the stewards had to decide on that pretty quickly. I'll give them their props. They did make a decision before the end of the race, which was good news. And of course, you know, very last lap, he gets a 5-second penalty, and it was game over. It was stupid. He should have just given the place back straight away, because, you know, if he hadn't have got past Max, and I do believe that he would have got past Max, as I said on Monday, because Max was complaining that his hard tyres were crap and awful, and he was losing pace. So he would have got past him. I do believe he would have done. But no. Like all the baby boomers, the Gen Zs of today, it's got no patience. They just can't wait. You know, everything's got to be immediate. And so he gets to place and thinks, that's it. That's mine. That's my position now. When it wasn't. He could have just given it back. He still had 5 laps to go. He could have fought in those 5 laps. And I'm bloody sure he would have got past him. But even if he hadn't have done, he would have been finishing the points right behind him. But no, he gets a penalty, and he's now, I think he was even further behind him because of the 5-second penalty. So it was just stupid and made absolutely no sense. It made no sense for the team not to say anything to Lando, and it made no sense for Lando just to be... What a Doris he is, honestly. What a Doris. Unbelievable. He really is. Really is. And I put all my eggs into my basket now, saying that Lando Norris is going to win the World Championship. Hello, Mr. Name I can't pronounce, and I do apologise because I'm not even going to attempt it, because I will butcher it. And I don't like to butcher people's names. So I'll just say, I'll tell you what, I'll call you Mr. S. There you go. You'll be like a James Bond villain. Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. Horribly. With this laser going up into your testicles. Yes, unfortunately though, it's 1964, so this laser, it's going to take 15 minutes to get from that end of the table to your testicles, because it runs very, very slow, because it was 1960, 15 minutes. I don't know what we're going to do in that time. Maybe we could play billiards or something, I don't know, but yes, it's going to take 15 minutes before it reaches your testicles. Yes. You know, if I fail to report 008 will take my place. Well, I hope he's more successful than you then, Mr. Bond. Yes. I do apologise. Yes, I am obsessed with James Bond. Always have been. But so, Mr. S, Lando Norris. It's top stuff from him. Nice. Says brah. I presume they're talking about what Mr. Alain Prost said. Yes, very nice indeed. Mr. Plano Placy says, get Danica Patrick on the All Seasons. I hope Will F1's not watching. Danica Patrick. Oh yeah. Yes, we need a female actually because I've done 2 males on the trot. I was trying to do a female male each week, but I've done 2 males so far. So yeah, we need a bit of the female perspective, don't we? Yes. I'll give you some female perspective. Get back in the blooming kitchen and make me a bacon set. If there are any feminists watching right now, I'd just like to say, hi, loving your work. Mr. S says Stewart is the oldest living champion at the moment. Wow, is he? Is he? Jackie Stewart? Let's have a look and see where he is. Jackie Stewart. I put an A in front of his name, but it's okay. It's okay. Where is the little tartan fella? There he is. 85 years old. 85 years old. Wowzers. 85 years old. We've got some more old guys. Helen Stewart, I presume is his wife. She's 83. But we've got Emerson Fittipaldi. He's 77 right now. And Jackie Hicks is 79 years old. Wow. This is making me feel old reading these out. This is making me feel old. Unbelievable. Good old Jackie Stewart, I'll tell you. One of the greats of F1. A pioneer for safety in Formula 1. F1 would not be as safe as it is now. Of course, it's never 100% safe, but it is a hell of a lot safer than it was back in the 60s and the 70s and the 50s as well. Terrible times. The drivers used to get used to the fact that a third of the field every championship would die. I mean, that's a horrible statistic, isn't it? But yeah, every year a third of the field would die. I'm going back into the very dark days of Formula 1 history. I think that's probably the 50s and the 60s. A third of the driver field would die every single year. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. So yes, he was a great pioneer for driver safety, and Formula 1 would not be as safe as it is today if it wasn't for Jackie Stewart. So well done, sir. Well done indeed. As I say, Formula 1 is never going to be 100% safe. It is motor cars going around at 220 miles an hour. Always going to be a danger. But I think you have to agree the serious injuries and the unfortunate fatalities that occur in Formula 1 these days is thankfully very few and far between. We want to be entertained. As Russell Crowe said in Gladiator, are you not entertained? We want to be entertained, but we certainly don't want in the course of that entertainment for fatalities to occur. Unfortunately, it does sometimes happen. It has happened recently in the last 5, 10, 15 years, but thankfully it's now a rare occurrence. It's something that we go, oh my God, that's something bad has happened. Whereas back in the old days, it was so bad it was almost classed as normal for so many drivers to keep dying. It was just ridiculous times, absolutely ridiculous times, and just purely for our entertainment. That's the worst thing about it. It was just for our entertainment. Very, very sad days. Very, very sad days. Anyway, Norris has all the brain cells of a mentally challenged dodo. I like that. I like that. Mr. S says Ghost, Jack-o'-lantern and Ladybug holiday next week. Yes, absolutely. I will be out there at night scaring all the children, but then that's what I do every night. So no difference for me. No difference for me. Right. Let's go to our favourite part of the show. Everyone loves this part of the show. It's the driver standings. Come on, get on with it. There we go. Here we go. So, in first position, we have Maxi Boy Verstappen with 354 points now. In second place, we have Lando Norris with 297 points. So, yes, over a two-race gap, 25 points for a win, isn't it? So, yeah, over a two-race winning gap is now what Verstappen has got over Lando Norris. So I think if you look at that, if Verstappen finishes sixth position every race and Lando Norris wins it, I think he's still got it. If it's maybe a bit higher than that, maybe fifth place or fourth place. So anyway, but yeah, it's looking more likely now for Verstappen, unfortunately. Especially the fact that they seem to be very much on pace in the USA Grand Prix, very much on pace, apart from Verstappen moaning about his hard tyres, which I did mention in my Monday video about they don't seem to be able to have the pace on the long runs, because they certainly had the pace in the sprint round, didn't they? Verstappen was away and gone. So yeah, return to form it looks like for Red Bull. There was lots of question marks. I just think there was a lot of politics going on at Red Bull and everything was sort of gumming up the works a little bit, and so they had to sort of take their eye off the ball a little bit and sort out all the problems. We had, of course, Adrian Newey leaving and all the fallout from that, and then he was doing interviews. Adrian Newey was doing interviews with Aston Martin, and Christian Horner wasn't very happy about that, sort of saying, yeah, okay, but you haven't left here yet, so, you need to focus, Adrian, focus. So yeah, a little bit of unhappiness and just general, chaos inside the team itself. It was sort of starting to pull itself apart, and I just think they've just, basically pulled themselves together a bit, and definitely a return to form for Maxi Boy, and this doesn't look good for Norris. Doesn't look good for Norris at all. In third place, we have Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari, 275 points. He's got an outside chance of winning the championship. Very, very slim. Verstappen would basically have to finish outside of the points in one race and finish pretty low in another one for Leclerc to be in any chance of points. But he is catching Lando Norris. And wouldn't that be funny if Leclerc finished the championship in second position and Norris dropped down to third? Wouldn't that be funny? Yes, I'd laugh. Piastri is in fourth position. A lot of people have said that Oscar's Piastri is the real deal, and he's certainly looking like it. He's certainly getting up there, and I think good things are going to come from Piastri next year. And I think maybe he might even completely trounce Lando Norris next year. Is Piastri? He's still sort of getting his act together, still sort of learning, what to do in all these racing situations. But I think next year he's going to be on pace, and I think he's going to be on better pace than Lando Norris. So we could have a situation which could be quite funny, where the team leader at McLaren is allegedly Lando Norris, although, there's a lot of debate about that, but allegedly it's Lando Norris. The team leader is going to be beaten by Piastri. And also at Ferrari, now who's going to be the team leader at Ferrari next year? Is it going to be Hamilton, or is it going to be Charles Leclerc? I don't think Hamilton is accepting a number 2 role, do you? He's not moving to Ferrari to be the number 2 driver, is he? No, he's going to be the number 1 driver. But the situation could be that he could be getting trounced by Charles Leclerc, which would be quite amusing, especially to me. Yes, quite amusing. So we got those 2 situations there. So, we will see what happens. We've got Carlos Sainz, of course. Unfortunately, he's, I think, outside chance of winning the championship is almost gone now. I think 2:15. No, I think we can safely say that's not going to be on for Carlos Sainz. He's too far out of the points now. And of course, unfortunately, he's going to Williams next year. I've said this before. I think it's a downgrade for Carlos Sainz. I don't think the story that James Vowles has sold to him, the dream, the yellow brick road for Dorothy, is probably going to turn out to be a bit of a disaster next year, unfortunately, for Carlos Sainz. And he could end up having a couple of years at Williams before he gets completely fed up and moves on to pastures new. And then, of course, we've got Lulu. Wow, what a race for Lulu. What a race it was. Yes, what was it, 2 laps? And he was out. Now, apparently this wasn't his fault. He complained to the team. He said the car was absolutely undrivable. The team basically just ignored him and said, just get on with it. Yeah, get on with it. You're bloody out at the end of the season anyways. Just drive the bloody car. So he had to start from the pit lane. And, that was it. He was on the hard tyre as well, which should easily have lasted half a Grand Prix, and it lasted 2 laps. But anyway, it wasn't Lulu's fault, okay? It wasn't Lulu, but what a disaster. In fact, a double disaster, because we had George and Russell crashing out in the qualifying as well. So not a good weekend at the USA Grand Prix for Russell either. Now, of course, both of the drivers, 177 and 167, they have got no chance of winning the World Championship now. It's an points impossibility. Even if all the front runners didn't finish the remaining races, they are not going to win this year's World Championship. So it looks like the finishing order for Mercedes for 2024 could be about 6th and 7th. Maybe Hamilton. No, I don't think he will actually. There's too many. I don't know. It depends. Maybe Hamilton can sneak in a 5th position finish for his final year at Mercedes. Not quite sure if he can beat Sainz, but as I say, it's going to be a little bit of a tall order. So it looks like 6 and 7 is going to be the best that Mercedes are going to finish for 2024. Not terrible, but, definitely a downturn for Mercedes. They really need to push to try and get higher up in these next few years, which is very, very important now. Fortunately, because of 2025, the regulation changes are static. Nothing's changing. Mercedes may just, go with the flow and carry on how they're doing it. We'll have to see how the new drivers get on, of course, as well, and see how that works out. But Mercedes may decide just to produce, an updated model of the 2024 car and then concentrate all their efforts, which would be a sensible thing to do for the 2026 car, which is going to be radically different from what I'm hearing. Radically different. So that could be, we could see Mercedes in about the same position, at least for 2025 as well. So they're out of the championship. Then we've got Sergio Perez who of course will be at his home circuit in Mexico this weekend. 150 points, no chance of winning the championship for Sergio Perez. And considering 8th place to 1st place in exactly the same machinery, has to be said, it's been pretty disappointing from Checo Perez. Now, will he still be there next year? I've said this before. They're not going to want to upset the apple cart. They don't want someone in there to challenge Verstappen. So they may just keep Perez on for 2025. Despite what people are saying, they may just keep him on for 2025 and then, get rid of him for 2026. Or he may go on his own accord. He may decide that he's had enough. We will find out. But, at the moment, it's obviously from where he is, it's been a disappointing season for Perez, has to be said. Then we've got Fernando Alonso, who at the Grand Prix called Liam Lawson, "Who's this idiot?" Yes, and everybody lost their snizzles over that. Mostly the younger F1 fans saying, "What's he doing? How dare he? Why has he suddenly started saying this?" And as I said in my video on Monday, he hasn't suddenly started saying this. Fernando Alonso's been like that since day one in Formula One. Yes, the year of hell with Lulu. The year of hell with Lulu at McLaren with Fernando Alonso. That famous scene where Fernando Alonso was waiting in the pit lane during qualifying so Lulu couldn't get out, waiting for the time to count down so that he didn't have enough time to complete his run. I mean, that was just classic Fernando Alonso. And as I say, he's been like that from day one. But I'm not going to take anything away from him. Yes, he is an absolute... I can't even put it into words. But I just love him for it because he's tenacious and he just carries on. I think now, though, Fernando Alonso has to make a decision. There's a lot of young guns out there just wanting these seats. And Fernando Alonso is starting to... His driving quality is starting to dip now. I mean, he's 42, 43? So, it may be time soon for Fernando Alonso to step aside and let someone else take over the Aston Martin. I mean, he's had a great career in Formula One. Not a brilliant one by any chance. I mean, 2 times world champion in the dominant Renault of 2005 and 2006. But ever since those years, he seems to have sort of disappeared into the wilderness a little bit. Changed teams quite a few times. Of course, the infamous Ferrari debacle, which really didn't hold any results that he was very, very happy about, I don't think. Well, how long was he there? 5 years when he had a Ferrari. Really didn't come to fruition. I think he was trying to replicate Michael Schumacher's when he went to Ferrari, but it just didn't turn out the way I think he expected it to. So Fernando Alonso, he sort of had this sort of middling part of his career. And I think now it may be time to wind the clock down and maybe time for Fernando to hang up his helmet and go and retire or go and do some other sort of motorsport. Because as I say, there's huge amount of drivers trying to get into Formula One. There isn't enough seats available. Even the big teams with these supposedly junior teams that they've got running, they don't even put in these hot shots anymore like they used to. I mean, what is it called now? Visa Cash App used to be the stepping stone for getting into a Red Bull, but they don't even bother doing that anymore now because, I mean, they brought Daniel Ricciardo into it, which just goes to show you, They could have had a hot shot driver in there, but no, they had Daniel Ricciardo. So that doesn't even work anymore. So yeah, it may be time for Fernando Alonso, and I'll be very sad to see him go. Very sad to see him go because he's been in the sport a very long time. 2001, he started in the Minardi car. If anyone remembers that, yes, the Minardi car. Alonso in a Minardi. Who would ever have thought that would happen? And of course, completely unknown. He was just a driver driving a Minardi. Nobody knew what his talent was like. Nobody knew if he was going to be a great driver or not. In 2001, Fernando Alonso was just sitting in that Minardi car. It was the all-black one, wasn't it, in 2001? Just doing his thing. And it was just, yeah. I mean, usually these hotshot drivers, they sort of start in pretty decent teams, don't they? But that was not the case for Alonso. No, started in the Minardi. Then we got Nico Hülkenberg. He's only got 29 points in the Haas Ferrari. Haas have done pretty decent. They haven't done too bad, but not really that brilliant either. Lance Stroll, what can we say about Lance Stroll? He'll still be in Formula One for the next, I don't know, 50 years, I expect. Yes, as long as his dad's still alive, he'll still be in a team. He's got 24 points. Yuki Tsunoda. There's a little bit of worry from me about Yuki Tsunoda. I have a lot of support for Yuki. I remember when at the Imola Grand Prix, wasn't it, when they had the rainstorms and the Grand Prix was called off, and there was little Yuki there with his broom helping to sweep up the rainwater, and I thought, well, now there's a decent guy, there's a decent guy. But just lately, Yuki's starting to worry me. Yes. He's starting to whine, and I don't like that. I'm not a subscriber to the whining. Yes, whether he's been watching old radio broadcasts from Lulu, I don't know. But there's a certain bit of whiny bitchiness starting to come in from Yuki, and I just hope it disappears. I hope it disappears because I don't like that. Yes, but anyway, there's Yuki. 22 points for him. Alexander Albon, he's had a pretty middling season, as to be said, with 12 points in the Williams Mercedes. Williams are hoping for great things next year with Carlos Sainz. I still don't think it's going to come to fruition, unfortunately. I still don't think it's going to work. Daniel Ricciardo, there he is, 12 points. No more points for Daniel because he is out of the sport. And probably for good, but of course he's now going to be super sub status. So if anyone has to drop out due to illness or accident, I'm pretty sure they'll be calling on Daniel Ricciardo. Pretty sure. Magnussen's in 15th place with 8 points. Pierre Gasly is in 16th place with 8 points in the Alpine Renault. Wow, what a disastrous team that is. I still can't believe that it is still the Works Renault team. And yet, despite that, they have now decided to drop their own engine. I know. Trust me, they're dropping their own engine and they will be moving on to Mercedes engines for 2026. Despite the fact that officially it is still the Works Renault team. So I don't know what it's going to be in 2026. They can't call themselves a Works Renault team if they're not supplying their own engine, surely. So that'll be interesting. But the whole team at Alpine is pretty much in chaos. It's all over the place. They've changed so many personnel. I always said I thought it started to go downhill ever since Ryan Reynolds, the movie star Deadpool, bought a 25% stake in it with his business partner. Ever since then, it seems to have just, I don't know, exploded from within. It really has. It's been very, very weird. People leaving left, right and centre. So, yeah, don't know quite what's going on at Alpine. And then we got Oliver Behrman in 17th place with his 7 points. Of course, the 6 he scored in his one race with Ferrari and the 1 point he scored with Haas. Doing very well indeed. In 18th place, we've got Colapinto in the Williams Mercedes with 5 points. He's, of course, just joined the sport. And in 19th place, we've got Esti Besti in the other Alpine with 5 points. Now, in 20th place, Liam Lawson, of course, picked up some points in the Red Bull, so he's got 2 already on the board. And now we come to the losers. This is my favourite part, the losers. Yes. As you can see, the biggest loser currently in Formula 1 is Valtteri Bottas, because he is going to finish this season in 23rd position out of 20 drivers. I know I shouldn't laugh, but it's very, very funny. Yes, he's going to finish in 23rd place with a field of 20 drivers. Now, of course, the reason for that is because some replacements have come in and they've scored points and Bottas still hasn't. You've had Behrman's come in. He's got 7 points, you see. He got 6 points just in the Ferrari race that he did. And so, yeah, Bottas is going to finish in 23rd place out of a field of 20. We just need to let that sink in, I think. Yes. Fantastic. Fantastic indeed. Logan Sargent, of course, he's now out of sport as well. I can't see him ever returning to Formula One in any capacity. Don't know quite what he's going to do. Probably go to IndyCar or something like that. Of course, he is from the USA, so there's lots of American motorsports out there that he's probably end up in. And Guan Yu Zhou also is going to finish 21st out of 20 drivers because he also hasn't scored a single point in that kick Sauber Ferrari, or as a certain person says, kick me up the arse Sauber, because that's what they need, a kick up the arse. Oh my God. Audi must be, the boss of Audi must be tearing his hair out right now and saying, what the hell have we done? We've now taken over a team which is going to finish 23rd place in the Drivers' Championship. Yes. It's unbelievable. Now, it will still be called whatever it's going to be called next year, Kick Sauber Ferrari for 2025. And then in 2026, it'll officially be renamed, even though they already have the team now. It's going to be officially renamed to Audi. Now, Audi is a very, very well-known name all around the world. They've got a rich history and heritage, actually, in motorsports as well. But seriously, do they really want to be known for this? I don't know. Personally, if I was at Kick Sauber Ferrari at the end of this season, I would just say to Guan Yu Zhou and to Valtteri Bottas, goodbye. Goodbye. Because apart from anything else, they don't seem to be caring about whether they're going for points or even getting anywhere. Valtteri Bottas he's just taking the money and running. He's basically just a paid driver. He really is. He doesn't care. Guan Yu Zhou, I don't know. I haven't seen much of him. Well, nobody really sees much of the Kick Sauber Ferraris either. I never see him on the TV coverage. But it's just crazy. I say, if I was a team boss, I'd just say at the end of the year, okay, I need you both to go now. Thank you very much. And get two other... anyone, just to change that dynamic up. Because otherwise, the same thing's going to happen next year. Guan Yu Zhou and Bottas are going to finish with 0 points again. You can see it's going to happen. And so, yeah, just get them out and get anyone in there to replace them. Just anyone. It's gonna be tough times for Audi. It really is. Tough times indeed. So that's the points, everyone. Yes. Everyone's favourite part of the show. I get so much complaints for doing the points. But anyway, there you go. Right, let's go back to the comments. Bois says, sorry I've not been in much, been too busy ripping into Nedzo. Yes, I think that's your favourite activity, isn't it? Yes. Hello Laurie, welcome to the stream. He says, Norris is still a good driver, he's just not World Championship material. I agree with you, yeah, he's still a good driver. I mean, you know, he's still finishing the points, but, you know, he's in a very good car, but he's still finishing the points, so yeah, I agree with you, he's still a very good driver. But yes, indeed, he is not World Championship material. He's starting to look to me like a little bit like a Damon Hill, if that makes any sense. Damon Hill was a good driver, but he wasn't a great driver. And Damon Hill was prone to making some huge mistakes just when he needed to. Not as much as David Twat Coulthard, of course. Oh my God, he made some howlers, but he still made some mistakes. I think, if I remember rightly, was it Japan 96 for Hill? No, that's when he won it, wasn't it? One of the races in 96 when he went into a tyre barrier or whatever. You know, just a silly mistake. But that's what Hill sort of did. He made a few mistakes. And his biggest one was going to Jordan. But that's another story. Yes. It's not me, it's the car. The grand excuse of the F1 driver that's doing shit. It's not me, it's the car. I'm not doing shit, the car is. Yes. Mr. S says, Nedzo's a talent and a half. LOL. Yes. I must catch up on all this Mr. Nedzo because I don't even know who he is. Laurie says, Hamilton needs to take some accountability. He was the one driving the car. Russell made the car work for him in the race at least. Yeah, true. He was the one driving the car, so yeah, he must do. I mean, as I say, he did keep telling the team that the car was no good, and the team was sort of, just get on with it. But yeah, at the end of the day, even if you're driving a toilet, you've still got to just take that responsibility that, you know. But there you go. Mr. S says, fair play to Hamilton. How many other drivers can say they haven't terminated their race on their own like that in like 17 years? Yeah, that's true. I agree with you there. Hello, Mr. DJM99. Oh, bum, what have I missed? Stupid notifications. Now I'm just buffering. Grrr. Well, what you've missed is half an hour of me and Mr. TB. We were dancing naked. We had the baby oil out, and we were rubbing it all. You missed all that. You missed all of that. Oh, well, thankfully there is a little thing called the rewind button. Yes, you can go back a bit, and you could. Don't worry. That bit I just said didn't actually happen. No. If it had, I wouldn't still be broadcasting. Plan of Plenty says, Bottas 23rd in a 20-car championship. Yes. That just makes me so glad. Makes me so happy. So happy indeed. Valtteri Bottas, loser of the year, has to be said, for 2024. He's just an absolute loser. He really is, isn't he? Bois says, can we talk F1 games? Take your pick on which one. Yes, we can talk F1 games. Take your pick on which one. F1 games. Oh, blimey. There's been so many. 39 at current total, isn't it? 39? Maybe 40 now. I'm not quite sure. On PlayStation anyway. That's the only format I'm talking about. 40 games. Which one should we talk about? F1 Championship Edition. There you go. Plan of Plenty says, I've been watching a bunch of people playing Assetto Corsa Competitionale, and they're all failing at it. Yes, you know why? Because that game's a proper simulation. And they're used to playing F1, which is not a proper simulation by any stretch of the imagination. And that's why they're failing at it. Yes, absolutely failing at it. If you play F1 games and think that, oh yes, I can do Assetto Corsa Competitionale, think again. Very, very difficult. I have never played Competitionale or the first Assetto Corsa, but I've heard it's very, very tough. Very, very tough indeed, because it's proper balls to the wall simulation. None of this arcade, Codemasters, EA Sports rubbish. Plan Play says, Lewis Hamilton will not win a race at Ferrari. This, I think, is definitely going to be the case. I can't see him winning a Ferrari. In fact, I can't see him improving on his stint at Mercedes, what he's doing now. I think he's going to finish next season 7th or 8th in the championship. I think Charles is going to absolutely wipe the floor with him, to be honest. I really do. So yeah, I can't see him winning anything. DJM99, sorry Dave, for some reason the stream isn't working for me, so we'll catch up tomorrow. No worries, mate. Yeah, catch it up tomorrow. Once the stream's finished, you'll be able to rewind it and watch it from there. Yes, in the comfort of your own living room. Mr. S says, Valtteri Bottas dropping positions like Harry Aid on Fantasy. Even when new players join, they jump Mr. Aid. Yes, I know, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? Absolutely ridiculous, as I say. This is an ex-Mercedes driver, Valtteri Bottas, an ex-Mercedes driver, and he's currently 23rd out of a field of 20 drivers. 20 drivers. Oh, Mr. S says, I can see Hamilton winning next year. Well, there's a hot take. There is a hot take. I can see him next year. Right, now, I just thought I'd mention that I've done a little experiment for tonight's stream, and that is, they asked me whether to switch the button on, and that's for ads while the video's running. If you've seen any ads while this stream's been running, please let me know. Now, Jimmy Broadbent tried this the other week with a stream, and apparently his wife said the stream was pretty much unwatchable because the ads were turning up basically every 3 minutes. So let me know, have you seen any ads while I've been streaming? Any ads at all? Because if they're going to do that every 3 minutes, I'm going to disable it for next week. But I've just put it on as an experiment. So tell me if you've seen any ads yet for this live stream. Plant Paper says even Kimi was doing better at Sauber. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. Because what was it? He got up to the top 6 of one time for whatever place he was starting in. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Kimi did a lot better at Sauber than Valtteri Bottas has done. Absolutely. I agree with you there. Carlos Sainz Jr. quite superb this past weekend, to be fair. Yeah. I wouldn't know because I've been going in and out of the stream. Oh, right. Okay. No worries, mate. No worries. Yeah, they asked me if I wanted to switch the button on before I came on stream. So I went, no, I'll give it a try. But as I say, Jimmy Ballben said that the stream was pretty much unwatchable because there was like advert breaks every 3 minutes, which is ridiculous. I wouldn't mind if they'd have put like one break in the middle, but doesn't look like YouTube being YouTube is going to do that. I mean, I've spoken about this before. The YouTube ads are getting ridiculous now. They really are. I know it's creators' livelihoods, but I mean, is it really? If you bombard a video with ads, 9 times out of 10 people don't watch the creators' videos because they get fed up and click off. I do that all the time. I basically watch a video until the first ad comes on and I click off. Not because I don't want to watch the rest of the video, because I don't want to watch the ads. And creators, they don't make any money from just showing the ads. They only make money if you click on the ad. That's the other thing. That's the thing that the only other way they make money, or how we make money, is we get a percentage for every 1,000 views on the ads. We get a percentage of that. But the only real money that any creator makes on the ads is not if you just sit there and watch the ads. That doesn't do anything. You've actually got to click on the ad. So click on the full version of the ad. Then we get some money for that. So yeah. So YouTube bombarding a video with 8 ad breaks makes no difference. Even if you sat there and watched the whole video and didn't skip for any of the ads, just watched the whole of the ads, we make zero money out of that. The only money we make is when you actually click on that ad, which nobody does. Who clicks on ads? No one. So there you go. Stupid. They should reduce the ads on videos. And then at least people will watch the ads, which is the other way that we do get money. If, every 1,000 views we get a percentage of that. But if you just keep bombarding us with ads, nobody wants to watch it. So stupid idea. As you get me in charge of YouTube, I'd sort it out. Oh God. Maybe not. Right, let's go and see if we've got any other... how long have I been on air now? Over an hour. See if we've got any other F1 news floating around the Ethernet. Anything interesting? Of course, we got the Mexico Grand Prix this weekend. Let's see. Anything interesting? Oh, there's something interesting right there. Lee Mackenzie. Lee Mackenzie. Yes. Formula 1 BBC Sport? What the hell's that? Oh, 2009. I was going to say. That's not anymore, is it? Franco Colapinto opens up on the reason for the Martin Brundle Sky F1 grid walk snub. Yeah, we all know about that, don't we? Hamilton to be replaced at Mexican Grand Prix after Austin horror show. We won't take any notice of that because that is from a website called GP Fans and they are absolutely full of clickbait. Yes, every article they post is clickbait. So a little warning to any of you looking at these things, don't bother, because if you click on that, it will not say anything about Hamilton being replaced at the Mexico Grand Prix. I guarantee. Look, we'll do it just for research purposes. Hamilton to be replaced at Mexican Grand Prix after Austin horror show. Okay? You got that? So let's just go a little bit further. Lewis Hamilton is set to be replaced at this weekend's Mexico Grand Prix, less than a week after his disastrous show in Austin last time out. The 7-time Formula 1 World Champion was forced into early retirement at the circuit in Americas after losing control of his Mercedes on the third lap. So already, if my stupid computer lets me scroll up, already the narrative has changed from Hamilton to be replaced to right underneath saying he's set to be replaced. Yes, there you go, everyone. That's the world we live in right now. Everything's false. Everything's for clicks. So they're now going to go through a story here about what happened in the last Grand Prix. Yeah, dreadful qualifying. Yeah. Who is replacing Hamilton at Mercedes? Well, British star had hopes for, but the championship will drop. Still doesn't say anything about that, does it? So we'll go down a little bit more. The replacement has come as a result of speaking to the official team website. Yes, but, and there it is. And there it is, everyone. There is absolutely nothing there official that Lewis Hamilton is being replaced for the Mexico Grand Prix. So that's the GP fans. Don't just no. Don't click on anything they say. It's all made up. All made up just for clicks. Just for clicks. Come on, go back, stupid computer. Planal Plessy says, the internet is dead. I quite agree. YouTube is oh, I didn't want UTab. I wanted the one I was on. Oh, God. Let's go back there. Yes, the YouTube is dying. Twitter is, or X is completely dead. Oh my God. I only use it now to post links to my videos. That's all I do on it. I can't even be bothered. Apart from the fact, for some unknown reason on my tablet, Twitter just doesn't work properly anyway. Ever since, I don't know, last update about a year ago, it's just horrible. You click on it, nothing happens, and you're going like that on the tablet, and it's just locked up. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Can't be bothered. Right, hello, Callum Fairhurst. Let me get rid of that a minute. Oh, the computer's refusing to play ball at the moment, and now I think my screen is frozen. I apologise, everyone. My screen just froze. Then I've just noticed. Right, let's get rid of that a minute. Let's read out these comments. Callum Fairhurst, hello, welcome to the stream. He says F1 used to be my favourite thing and was for the majority of my life. I'd have to second that. Yes, that was the same thing for me as well. I started watching F1 way back in 1988, only sporadically, not every single Grand Prix of that season, but I watched about 3 or 4 of the 88 season. And I was just sort of, deciding whether I wanted to watch it or not. And one of the things that started to draw me towards it was Murray Walker, of course. The voice was just epic at that time. And I watched 3 or 4 races in 88, and I thought, yeah, I think I'd rather like this. But unfortunately, I was a bit busy at work during 90 and 91, 89, stuff like that. So I really didn't watch any Formula 1 at all. It was only 1992, the Nigel Mansell winning year at Williams. That's when I started to watch it. But I still didn't watch every single race, but I did watch him win the championship. And then 93, unfortunately, huge busy workload I had, so I didn't watch anything. And then it was 1994 when I went, right, that's it, I'm going to watch F1 full time, and that's what I did for 1994. It was just tragic that was the year that we had so many tragedies with Ayrton Senna dying and Roland Ratzenberger and all the others. Just pure coincidence that I started to say that's it, I'm going to watch it full time, but there you go. But yeah, so I was fully invested into Formula One from 1994, and of course when I used to watch it, it was all for free on terrestrial television, and I used to watch all of it. I used to watch all the practice sessions, all the qualifying sessions. If it was in Australia, I'd have my alarm set so that I would wake up in time for the qualifying and the race in Australia. And I just don't do any of that anymore. Unfortunately, in the UK, I haven't got Sky TV, so I don't get the races live anyway. So I only get the highlights. So but that's basically all I do with F1 these days. Just watch the qualifying and the highlights of the racing anyway, and just sort of look around the internet and see what's going on. But that's about it. But yeah, that it was fully installed as a part of my life. Was Formula One was back then in the late 80s and the 90s. Oh my god, yeah, I was fully on the obsession highway in the 90s for Formula One, has to be said. I have totally switched off from the sport and did so in 2022. Does anyone else feel like the sport has betrayed its roots? Oh, absolutely. I think the biggest mistake the sport ever did was letting Liberty Media buy it. It's not been the same since Liberty Media took it over. I'm also going to say it's not been the same since Bernie Ecclestone left. Now, I know, a lot of people have got a lot of hate for Bernie Ecclestone, and it's justified. I understand that. Bernie was a twat, let's put it this way, and he still is, especially as he supports certain people that I can't mention on the internet. But yeah, let's put that to one side and look at Bernie as the sport of F1. Bernie was the ringmaster. He was the one that got things done. He was the one that sorted out Grand Prix when it had problems, and it had a lot of problems during his tenure. When the domination took over, Bernie came up with solutions to try and offset that, and you just don't see that now. Liberty Media have got no interest in that. Liberty Media are in it just for the revenue that they can get. They're not. They would not even intervene if Max Verstappen won all 24 rounds of this year's championship. If he'd have done that, they wouldn't have done a thing. And yet, if Bernie Ecclestone had still been in charge of F1, he would have radically changed the rules or manipulated the races somehow to stop Verstappen from winning all the races. He would have done that because he had lots of little plans that he had to do that. He made changes when things started to get boring, like 2003 when he did the one-shot qualifying, if anyone remembers that disaster. Oh my God. But, sometimes it didn't work, sometimes it did work. But the fact is that Bernie was there and he was changing things. He was changing things to try and make the sport better, to try to make the entertainment factor as good as it could be. I mean, let's face it, it's just cars driving around a circuit at the end of the day. So trying to make it entertaining is a very difficult process. It's the racing, the incidents and the accidents. That's the thing that makes Formula One entertaining. But apart from that, there's no way you can manipulate, entertainment. It's not a TV show, you can't direct it so that it makes it more entertaining. It's just a race. It's what happens during that race that sorts out whether it's entertaining or not. But there are certain things you can do during the races to make them more entertaining. You can, sort of mess up the qualifying sessions, swap things around, just make it more difficult, take away some regulations and whatever, anything like that, just to make the sport more entertaining, which is what it should be about. It is an entertainment package at the end of the day. It's there to entertain us. But as I say, Liberty Media have got no interest in doing that whatsoever. No interest. All they're interested in is making as much money as they can out of the sport. And they'll just grind it into dust in the end. It'll just, if it carries on the way it is carrying on. I've already heard that at least 50% of its audience has now left Formula One, which is since the year that you say 2022, which is a huge statistic. Half the audience has gone for Formula One since 2022, which is, it's a great shame. It's a great shame. And unfortunately, it'll end up in the end like a minority sport. It'll end up like the World Rally Championship. The World Rally Championship from like 2000 onwards was huge. Huge. I mean, in the UK, oh my God, we ended up, we got a broadcaster in the UK called Channel 4, and they were actually broadcasting stages of the World Rally Championship live stages on Channel 4 for the World Rally Championship. But you just don't get that now. It's turned into a minority sport. All you see is highlights now. I think it's on Channel 5 or something at like 3 o'clock in the morning or something ridiculous. And that's it. And that's what F1 will turn into. It'll turn into a minority sport eventually. It'll take a long time to reach that process. I'd say another 10, I think it's got another 10 years before it gets that way. But it will turn into a minority sport. And of course, they've still got to come with the solution of what they're going to do once combustible engines are banned, I think from 2035, is it? It's supposed to be 2030, but they suddenly decided, oh, that's too soon, so it's 2035 now. But once that happens, I don't know what's going to happen to the sport. I can't see it going to electric, to be honest. I just don't think people will watch it, to be honest, if it turns into an all-electric sport. So they've got to find some reason or some idea to come up to replace the combustible engine anyway, which is going to happen in just over 10 years. So I don't know. Formula One, in my eyes, is in the worst place it's been for a very, very long time. Possibly since it started. I don't think it's been in a worse place, to be honest. And that has to fall on Liberty Media. As I say, they're just not interested in anything to improve the show. They're coming up with stupid like sprint races. I'm not a fan of sprint races. I've said it several times. And I know they're thinking of, in a few years' time, having every single round with a sprint race in it, which would just be absolutely ludicrous. But it's probably going to happen. I can see it. They're airing that way towards it, and I can see it eventually happening. You'll have a sprint race in every single round of the championship, which is very, very sad. Very, very sad indeed. And that's all they're interested in, making up gimmicks. That's all nothing that's going to improve the show, though. Nothing that's going to improve the show. Just, ladling in as much as they can get in it before they know the inevitable crash is going to happen. It's going to happen. I say, in 10 years' time, it'll probably end up as a minority sport, something that you'll watch on Channel 5 at 3 o'clock in the morning, because the main broadcaster by then, Channel 4, over in the UK, I don't think they'll still be doing the races even as highlights, to be honest. I just, just don't see it, because the audience isn't there. If the audience isn't there and it's not as popular, they're not gonna still show it at prime time TV times. I mean, the races now on Channel 4 are like a normal race. I'm not talking about these current flyaway races, which are, they have to put them on a lot later. But the normal races, they're put on at like prime time, 6:30 in the evening, when they could be putting something else on. That's not going to happen if the sport's going to deteriorate into, nothingness in 10 years' time. As I say, so it's literally going to become a minority sport. And that's very, very sad. Very, very sad. Planoplasties, don't know if you've ever heard of the dead internet theory, basically saying that most internet activity comes from bots. Yeah, I've heard a little bit about it. Yes. And I do believe that most internet activity comes from bots. Yeah, I really do. And most of them are on the dating sites that I'm on. Thought this would be a great place to ask, since most people here, I would imagine, are all massive F1 fans. Yes, we're all pretty massive F1 fans here, I would say, definitely. I would like to get the perspective from fans of the current product. Bra says, I mean, in a way it hasn't. It's still effectively 20 rich boys in overpriced race cars. True. Planoplasty says, it's a very scary future to be in. That and AI pretty much being a serious threat to all of us. Yeah, the AI, I have to say, is really concerning me. AI is really concerning me. I don't know if you've seen these CGI videos going about with these fishermen, with these big sea creatures that look absolutely real. They really do look real, but they're not. They're CGI. We're getting to that point now where the reality and the fantasy aspect is starting to merge very, very close together. And it's going to be very, very difficult to tell in as little as 5 years from now what is really real and what is fake. And that is very, very worrying. Very, very worrying indeed. I don't like to worry about it, but what else can I say? No, it's true. It is something to worry about. It is something to worry about. I'm especially concerned about the AI. I mean, as everyone knows, I use AI in my all seasons videos, but that I use AI how it's supposed to be used, as a tool. I use it as a tool, and as a tool, it's a very effective tool, and I like it. But like any computer, you should use it as a tool. The danger for me, and for a lot of people, I think, is when they're going to start putting AI in charge of things. And you know, I'm not going to say it's going to end up like a movie, but we've all seen the movies like the Terminators and whatever. The worst mistake that mankind could do on this planet is to put AI in charge of anything to do with our military. It would be the worst mistake on the planet. It really would. I'm not saying we're going to end up with a Terminator style, situation where killer robots are going to come back and go back through time and start killing us all. But the worst mistake as mankind could ever make would be to put AI in control of anything to do with our military. Military has to be controlled by a human. There has to be humans there making those important decisions, making decisions that will have effects for everybody for the rest of their lives, or not their lives, if the unthinkable ever did happen. So yes, there always has to be human decision to do with the military. The AI must never, ever be involved. It must always be a tool that is used by humans, but it can never be allowed to get any bigger than that. And as I say, never be allowed to take over our military. Ever. Ever. Callum says, yeah, I get what you mean. However, I see that the calendar now has about 50 street races now, and recently I saw an article about them removing Spa. They've been trying to remove Spa for quite a few years now because it's not trendy enough, like a lot of the old circuits now aren't trendy enough, because let's face it, Spa, it's not Las Vegas, is it? No, it's not Las Vegas. God, I'm so happy it's not Las Vegas, I'll tell you. Spa is a beautiful circuit. It's one of my favourites. I just love dipping down and going up through Radion into Eau Rouge. It's just epic. And, to get that true experience of that, to try that with no traction on, it's just epic. Because 9 times out of 10, especially if you're on a controller, you'll end up in the barrier. You can't do it with no traction on unless you're godly and you've got great fingers. But apart from that, you can't. But just the sensation of doing that is just great. So if they take Spa off the calendar, I should be very, 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 very sad. I don't know. The minute you're in, to be honest. You can't ever lose love for something you love. True. That's why I'm still here. North Korea for the F1 calendar, says Bois. Oh, God. Could you imagine that? Yes. North Korean Grand Prix. Well, thankfully, due to the fact that something that's been happening over the last few days, which once again, because I'm on YouTube, I'm not allowed to mention, that's never going to happen now. Never going to happen. Callum says, I still love the history of the sport and will watch the season reviews from the early 2000s, but anything 2020 onwards, I just feel like it's been a sport targeted towards Netflix fans. Yes, of course, this was another problem. Drive to Survive. I think I shall say this now, I've never watched the show. I've never watched 1 second of it. I've seen a couple of the trailers, which you get on YouTube and whatever. You can't avoid those. I've seen those, but I've never actually watched 1 second of the Netflix show. Ever. because I think it did more damage than good. I think it's really harmed the sport in a way. I mean, the worst thing is a lot of people now have come into F1 purely over Drive to Survive, and I think that's horrible. Horrible. Yes, horrible that you're watching basically a made-up TV show thinking that's what F1's really like. That just makes no logical sense to me whatsoever. And yeah, it destroys the mystery of F1. I remember an interview with Nigel Mansell. This was just before the internet was starting, and someone said to him, are you glad that, soon in a few years' time, everyone will be able to know everything there is to know about you, Nigel? And he said, no, I'm not happy about that at all. He says, drivers, we've always had this sort of mystery about us. He says, and that's how it should be. He says, I don't want everyone to know what I eat for breakfast, or, whether I, take the dogs out for a walk at 3:00 in the afternoon. Whose business is that but mine, he says. And, he was right. And that's exactly what the internet's become. You can't do anything now without reporting it onto the internet, can you? It's just ridiculous. The amount of people I see on there who transmit every single logical thought that comes into their head over a 24-hour period of their day. I see it on Twitter all the time. Every single thought, they have to tweet it out. Every single thought, doesn't matter what it is, in a day, they have to tweet it out. Why? Why? Because nobody cares. Bart says it's declined from about 2013 onwards. Yeah, I agree with that. I think actually that's a good juxtaposition to say that it's declined from when they started the hybrid engines. As as Martin Brundle said, he said that he thinks that the hybrid era really damaged the sport, and I agree. I think it did really damage the sport. Unfortunately, the environmentalists have been complaining for years about Formula One burning all those V8 engines going around the track and burning all that combustible fuel going up in the atmosphere. It's destroying us. They've been complaining about that for donkey's years. It wasn't just since 2014 that happened. Way back in the 90s, the environmentalists were complaining about Formula One. That was not a new thing. They didn't suddenly decide in 2013, let's just go hybrid for 2014. That had been a process that had been in place for like 10 years before they'd started thinking about how they would be able to, change Formula One. So, as I say, the hybrid came in, and I just think it made the sport worse. I really do. And I think it was the result of a complete overreaction by Formula One to appease the environmentalists. Now, yeah, of course, I understand the point of view of the environmentalists, and I've just seen on the news today, in fact, that apparently we're not going to hit our 1.5 degree reduction target for the planet. It looks like it's going to go up to 3 degrees. So I can see, what they're on about. I can see what they're on about. But just the way this was done in Formula One was a knee-jerk reaction. It was completely unnecessary, especially now that we know that a V8 engine car could be going around the F1 circuits now using biofuels. That's the horrible thing about it. We could be having V8 engines in Formula One going around on biofuels, but they can't now because they've invested so much money in technology into these hybrid systems, which are going to get another revision in 2026. They can't now just abandon all that and go back to ordinary engines again. It's done. The damage is done, and it's never going to be repaired. Which is a shame, because I'm sure everyone in this chat would love to see the F1 cars going around in V8 engines again. I know I would. I'd absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Because it can be done. They can run on biofuels. It's a 0.0000001% of emissions is produced by biofuel, apparently. What I've heard. So it's so small, it's unbelievable. And so they could all be going around again on V8s. But as I say, they can't now because too much investment's been made on this hybrid engine. It really has. Really has. Planet Place says, even the season reviews are not good anymore. No Ben Edwards narration, just highlight compilations. Yeah, I know. I agree with you there. It looks actually like they just can't be bothered anymore to do those season reviews. I mean, I've said this to people in the past. If you want to, I don't know if it's on YouTube, but if you want to see some cracking racing from the past, I'm talking about going back to the 90s, just see if you can find the Murray Walker Toka touring car highlights, because they were just magical. They managed to condense, I think the races were quite long back in those days, weren't they? But they managed to condense it into like a 15, I think they did 2 races each session, like a 15-minute highlights, and it was just magical stuff. Murray Walker was just absolutely on fire back on those touring cars. He really was, and it was just really magical stuff. It really was. But I say, yeah, just can't be bothered. Mr. S says, first full season I watched was 2010. Nice. I knew I could ask these questions here. How many fans now would even know who Ben Edwards is? That's true. I was very sad to see Ben Edwards go. I still haven't sort of got to grips with the circumstances. I think, but I'm not going to quote on that, but I think some kind of family matter got in the way and he had to step down. But I always liked Ben Edwards in the commentary. To me, he was the natural heir and successor to Murray Walker. He had that same style, he had that same enthusiasm, and he had that same chutzpah, that same way. When something happened, he was there and he was emoting. And that's the greatest thing you need in a commentator. You need to be able to emote in certain situations when they occur. You have to be able to do it immediately. You have to have a brain that can think at least 5 seconds ahead, and not very many people, especially commentators, can do that. You've got to be able to think. You've got to be able to think what's going to happen in 5 seconds, so you can react to it. And that's a special gift, I have to say, a special gift. And there's not many that can do that. Not many at all. I certainly can't do it. Plano Plessy says, if we go way back in the 80s, they had Clive James narrating. Yes, they did. Good old Ben. Callum says, by the way, I haven't stumbled on this channel randomly. Used to watch the All Seasons when it first started in 2017 when I was in high school. I'm now 22 and feel like I'm in a quarter life crisis. A quarter life crisis. Well, as an expert on crises, I can tell you I'm on my 4th midlife one. Yes. So, yes. But don't worry. It all gets better in the end. Yes, it all gets better in the end. So, yeah. And thank you very much, I just to say, for watching my All Seasons. When I did I really start that in 2017? Oh my God. Now I feel very old. Yeah, 2017. Hang on, 17. I'm very crap at maths. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 20. I've been doing that for 7 years. 7? Okay, I'm out of here. Thanks so much for 7 years. Oh my God. But anyway, thank you, Callum, for watching my All Seasons from the start. I mean, when I first started that, I had no idea that I'd still be doing it 7 years later, to be honest. In fact, I didn't think it would last past about 2 episodes. I just wanted to experiment, see if it would work. And to anybody who doesn't know the All Seasons, basically, I started on all the career modes that on PlayStation that started, which was F1 2004. And I've been going through them ever since. The object of the exercise is to win the championship in how many seasons we can do it in. Usually I get to about 5, and that's I'm saying, right, if I haven't won it, I'm not going to go any further. But I've managed to do it so far, and I haven't actually go past 5 seasons on any of them. We're currently on F1 23. Yes. So that tells you how many games I've gone through. I've gone through 04, 05. Didn't do 06, so I did Championship Edition. And then, of course, there was the huge F1 gap on PlayStation because there's no F1 games. I did F1 2009, which was through emulation. What a disaster that was. Oh, my God. But I got through it. But basically, my computer wasn't up to the job. And it was. But I got through 2 seasons on that. Now I did 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14. Couldn't do 15 because there's no career mode. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 20, 23. And I'm on 23 right now. And now I feel very, very old indeed. WRC is on ITV4. Thank you, Plino. I knew it was on somewhere. I always thought F1 was a niche sport before Netflix got hold of it. Yeah, I agree with you. Mr. S says Lewis Hamilton leaves and the viewers will likely leave with him. Yeah, that is one fear I've got as well with Lewis Hamilton leaving. I think he's still got a lot of support, a lot of fans. I've said in the past, I've got nothing against Lewis Hamilton as a racing driver. I mean, not so much lately, but in his past as a racing driver, he's a 7 times world champion. You don't do that without being a special talent. Yes, most of those he was in the best car, I agree with you, but the first one to cross the finishing line in the lead is the winner, and that has been Lewis Hamilton. And as I say, he's still got a hell of a lot of support. I say I've got nothing against him. The only thing I've got against Lewis Hamilton is every word that comes out of his mouth outside of the sport. I do not agree with anything that Lewis Hamilton says outside of the sport of Formula One. And I also don't agree with his dress sense when he turns up for the race. But that's another story. Looking like a Teletubby. But that's another story. But no, everything he says, because he's hypocritical, because he keeps saying about saving the planet, we must do that, we must do this, and what have you. And yet his main sponsor of his team is Petronas, which is one of the biggest oil companies in the world. One of the biggest. So it's just an oxymoron, because he's saying one thing and yet he knows damn well he's doing another. So it's just ridiculous. It really is. But as a sportsman, as a Formula One driver, I've got nothing but respect for Lulu. Really have. He is, he's been a great ambassador for the sport as well, I have to say. A great ambassador. And I will be sad when he goes, because he's one of the very few actual personalities left in Formula One. It's interesting because I feel like the times with Bernie and Max Mosley are frowned upon, but for me, that's when the sport peaked in terms of technology and the actual show on the track. Yeah, I agree with you. A lot of people have complained about Bernie and Max Mosley for good reason. Bernie, unfortunately, due to his associations, I can't support. But when he was in Formula One, he was damn good at the job that he did. He really was. And Max Mosley, to a certain extent, as also was very good in the job that he did as well. Of course, there was controversies with both of those two characters, but that's what you get. Fly says, yes, I've seen it all. Talking about AI, talk about the AI on F1 98, says Bart. Well, there's not really much to talk about the AI on F1 98, is there? Apart from the fact they were absolutely rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. Yes. I think they basically went into an old folks home and motion captured most of these old biddies in there to use in the pit crew, because the pit crew is something to behold. It really is. Plier says, sadly, nobody cares. Skynet is going to come, and so is Westworld. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that one day the AI are going to go out of control. As I will say it again, AI should never ever be put in charge of our military forces. It's just a mistake waiting to happen. I mean, just look at your average computer. How many times do you switch on your computer and it goes, hang on, we've got 37 updates for you. Just please stand by. Don't switch off your PC. I get it so many times on my computer. Don't switch off your PC. So you've got to sit there for an hour waiting for these updates to come through, because it's... Can you imagine if that was then translated into being in charge of the whole of the military force of your country? I'll just use the USA as an example. So AI is in charge, yeah? And then suddenly you get a warning. A certain other country, which I can't mention on YouTube, is about to attack you. And we need to launch our missile. Hang on. We've got some updates for you. It'll all be over by then, because we're still doing updates, Ridiculous. So yes, keep AI away from anything to do with military. The decision has to be human, and it has to be human for, the rest of all our lives, however long that's going to be. It has to be human. Keep them out. But use AI as a tool. I find it a very useful tool. I use it myself, and it's great. It's great for what it needs to be. But don't give them the power or the control. Just don't do it. Just don't. Otherwise, we'll end up with Terminators coming back to kill us all. Callum says, I just got a degree in cyber security. Let me tell you, you're a long way away from AI taking over. I don't think it'll happen in our... That's good. I like to see that. And as you've got a degree in cyber security, you know what's going on out there in the big wide world. So I like that. And I like the fact that you don't think it'll happen in a lifetime. Personally, I don't think it will either. I don't think. Well, it won't happen in my lifetime, but even you youngsters, I don't think it'll happen in yours either. And that's how it should be. That's how it should be. It really should. You say that, Callum says, Plano, but AI has been involved in an alarming rate. I remember people using AI image generators and they were poorly made, and that was 2 years ago. Yeah, that is also true. That is also true. AI image generators a couple of years ago were pretty basic. You could always tell that it was generated. But now, as I say, anyone who's seen those fishermen picking up those big octopuses out of the ocean, it just looks completely real. It really does. Really does. Hello, Mr. Gomez. Welcome to the stream. He says, Dave broke the internet again. I did. I broke the internet again, as usual. As usual. Welcome, sir, to the stream. Mr. S says, gotta believe in the power of being correct. AI in. Yeah, I get to why people can start to worry about it. I don't want to come over as a smart ass because I have a degree, but personally, I really don't see it happening for a long while. There you go. You heard it here first. Drive to Survive, said Planel, has ruined F1. Yes, totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. If there's anything Drive to Survive succeeded in, is to draw newer fans to potentially do something different whilst they were in lockdown. This is also true. What I was doing back in the day was browsing through the old F1 website as well as F1 rejects, which sadly no longer exist, but has detailed profiles of those who were not successful in F1. Mr. S says, I'd argue the Drive to Survive guys were actually lucky there was that unspeakable disease. They managed to pull people in at the right time. That's also true. Yeah, it did come along just at the right time. Unfortunately, not for the people who died. Unfortunately, 2007 season, says Plano, was good, even though it was a three-way battle, which ended in Ferrari winning it all. 2008 was the first one where I followed every race. 2009 was strange and it got exciting in the second half because nobody knew what was going to happen. 2010 was also good because you had about 3 or 4 drivers challenging for the title at Abu Dhabi. Had Lewis not had a puncher in Spain, he probably would have won it. The real pollution was the transportation of all the equipment and cars in between the races. Yes, this is all true. This is all true. It was really nothing to do with the cars. It was the transports. These huge transporters that have to transport all the equipment, they run on diesel at the end of the day, and they use a lot of it. And diesel, unfortunately, is very polluting because it produces black soot through the natural combustion process. Black soot, and that black soot is actually more dangerous than petrol is. So yeah, that was the main problem, was all the transporters. I also understand they've been trying to sort that out as well, but unfortunately they have tried electric lorries to transport, but they're not man enough for the job, because we're talking these huge transporters that have got to carry men and equipment to different race locations, and the battery driven trucks haven't been successful. So I think, I'm not sure, I'd have to look that up, but I think they may have gone back to diesels again until another solution presents itself, which it probably won't. Then 2011 came and I got bored of it that season because Vettel kept winning. Yes. Mr. S says 2020 was a mad season. Vettel won the title and Hamilton in fourth was only 16 points off. But 2012, what a season, says Plano Plessy. Yes. And Mr. S says, and then 13, Vettel kept winning again. Yes, he did. Yes. Yeah, 13 was a little bit boring because of Vettel's constant winning. Plano says, Ben Edwards did commentary for Kart on Eurosport. The battle between Montoya and Michael Andretti at Michigan is worth watching. Yes. Callum says, just a random question, but did anyone actually subscribe to the F1 digital channel back in the day in 2002? I was way too young to actually have seen it, but I've seen some archive stuff on YouTube. Okay, no, I didn't, but I was around when that was going around for people to buy it. I was sorely tempted, and I got very, very, very this is like those stories that people say when they say a plane crashed and I was about to get on that plane, but no. But 1 week I came this close to buying it, because you could buy it just for one race. I came this close 1 week to buying it. There you go. That's my claim to getting as close to F1 Digital. Yes, because I saw it and I was just like, wow. Because you could get all the different. You could basically you could have split screen. You could have all the drivers on your screen. You're watching them go round. It was magical. It was magical, really was. So few of it survived on YouTube, unfortunately. But yeah, it was magical, and it was £9.99 a race. I remember that. If you wanted to buy it separately, I think it was, and then you had a subscription where you could have it all the time. But yeah, it was just magical. But unfortunately, it cost because Bernie was in charge of that. If you didn't know, it cost so much money because every single racetrack had to have the digital lines put into the track. So they had to dig up all the, not the tracks, but by the sides of the track to put in the digital lines so that they could do all this. It cost a fortune, and unfortunately, they only ever ended up with 11,000 subscribers in total. Yes, that's how much of a failure it was, because you had the F1 digital, but you still had it free on the TV. So everyone was like, oh, what's the point of this? We'll just watch it for free. Now, the coverage did suffer of the free stuff because all the different camera angles were claimed by F1 digital. So when you went to look at it for free, you would suddenly looking at this and going, wait a minute, why haven't we got these inboard cameras anymore? And that was the reason. But F1 digital failed, it collapsed, and the next year, because all the digital lines have been put in all the tracks ready to go, Bernie went, oh well, just let them have it for free then. So all the free races on the TV had all these different camera angles. Didn't have all the multi-screen, split screen stuff, but it had like the in-car views and whatever. That was all because of the failure of F1 digital. Yeah, 11,000 subscribers had in the end. That was the famous Martin Bundle grid walk where he walked up to Bernie Ecclestone and he was talking about F1 digital, and Martin Bundle turned around and says, oh, is this the one where if you invite a few friends around, you're actually going to double your audience? And Bernie Ecclestone was absolutely incandescent with rage. You could see it in his eyes. He was, no, it's not. No. He was furious at him. But yeah, it was a great joke. It made me laugh, and it was really funny. But yeah, 11,000 subscribers is the total that F1 Digital ended up with in the end, which is pretty sad. So that was a complete failure. It looked like an amazing, very expensive. It was a very expensive service. Yeah, I say $9.99 per race, or you could have it on subscription. Unbelievable. Pilar says F1 Digital was before my time, but I know Sky Sports showed F1 highlights from that service because Sky owned the channel. That's true. So technically that was Sky's first attempt at F1 coverage, and it was a disaster because obviously people watched it on ITV. And apparently you couldn't record the races on Sky boxes, it had to be watched live. Wowzers. Oh, that's cool, says Callum. I didn't know Sky Sports still use that footage. I would have imagined they got it from FOM, but that just makes sense, I suppose. 2011 was weird, says Mr. S. China and Canada were brilliant races, but to be honest, that was the GOAT Vettel season. He only missed the podium 2 races that season. Hell, he was only below second on 3 occasions. Callum says, yeah, I've heard there was a glitch, meaning you couldn't record the live coverage. There's some great archive stuff on YouTube, though. Mr. S says, as a Vettel supporter, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but can obviously see why some others didn't. Planner says, like MotoGP, Valentino Rosso, he was MotoGP. Of course, you had 500cc. People remember Kenny Roberts and Barry Sheene, but Rossi brought the sport into further popularity. And the BBC soon got hold of MotoGP and showed it live for about 10 years. Sorry I'm not here. Much sibling duties. Quiz before you go, you promised. Unfortunately, I'm out of time. It's 11 o'clock. Sorry, I've been rattling on again. I'm out of time. We'll do the quiz at some point, don't worry. Do you remember that race where Martin said to Bernie? Oh my God. Oh, I can't remember it. Just put it into YouTube, and I'm pretty. Just put in. Oh, I'm trying to remember what it was. Martin to Bernie, F1 Digital, or just put in F1 Digital. Martin, but just put in lots of stuff and you might find it. It is definitely on YouTube. Somewhere. Oh my God, but no, I'm sorry, I can't remember the exact title, but it's on there. I've seen it. That's where I got it from, because I've seen it. Oh my God, yeah. So just keep typing away and it should come up somewhere in the search. It was just classy. When he first, because I watched it and he said that live, I was just rolling about all over my chair. I was just like, oh my God, he's just thrown so much shade at Bernie. That's when, we didn't even use that word. And now we have F1 TV, which we cannot get unless you have a VPN. That's true. Diddy for the all seasons. No Diddy for the all seasons. Absolutely not. Oh dear. Anyway, there you go, everyone. It's 11 o'clock. It's time for me to depart the premises. Thanks so much for watching. Of course, it's another Grand Prix this weekend. We're at Mexico. La 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 la. La, 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 la. Yes, the Mariachi band will be singing away at Mexico. I'm looking at the wrong camera again. The Mariachi band will be singing away at Mexico again for this weekend. Sergio Perez will finish in 8th again. Even though it's his home race, and of course, don't forget, it's worth almost half a second a lap. Almost half a second a lap. Jack Nicholls for... No, Mr. Board. No. We are not getting people that are up on dodgy charges on the all seasons. Dr. Disrespect for the all seasons. Well, apparently I could do him because he's innocent. He's innocent, isn't he? Yeah, so he says. I don't know. I don't believe any of it. Anyway, there you go. Thanks so much for watching tonight, everyone. And thanks to everyone for joining me. We had Mr. Bois. We had Callum. Great to hear from you, mate, tonight. And great that you were a long-time fan of the all seasons back in the day. I still can't believe I've been doing it for 7 years. 7 years. I can't believe that. Oh, my God. I was a young man when I started. But I say, yeah, just look that up on YouTube. It should be there unless it, because the trouble is the F1 stuff does get deleted constantly on YouTube because FOM keep claiming it. But I'm pretty sure, hopefully it will be there because I want you to watch it. I really do want you to watch it because it is classic, absolutely classic, really is. So yeah, hopefully it will be okay. So thank you to Mr. Bois, thank you to Mr. Pinal Pesci, Mr. Callum Fairhurst as well. Bois said, Mr. S, thank you for joining me tonight. Who else did we have? Gomez was in there. Thank you, Gomez, for joining me tonight as well. Let's have a look and see if we can find any more. Mr. DJM99, unfortunately, he couldn't watch me because my stream was breaking for him, so he's going to catch it up later. Thank you. Laurie, thank you for joining me tonight. And Mr. Shane Paul was in there right at the start, and Mr. Helium Trophy as well. And Matthias SJ was in there right at the start of the stream. I was screaming, maybe streaming as well, right at the start of the stream, which was nearly 2 hours ago now. So there you go. Also, someone destroyed the Mexico circuit. It's the worst one on the calendar. Yeah, it's a bit meh, isn't it? It's a bit meh. I like the grandstand sort of section when you're going past the crowd. I like that bit, and the very, very long straight. That's always the best bit. But that's the trouble. You get down to turn one, and you can literally have 6 cars wide. So it's always a little bit of a, oh, where do I go? Where do I go? The rest of the circuit is pretty meh, isn't it? Those S sections are a bit going left, going right, and you've got to be very careful you don't go off track too much. So yeah, it's a little bit meh. But I do enjoy the stadium section and the long straight. But apart from that, Mexico's a little bit blur, isn't it? So yeah, get it off the calendar. Get it off the calendar. Yes. Is that everyone? Yes, it is. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, everyone. You have been awesome as always tonight. And yes, enjoy the Grand Prix on Sunday at Mexico. If you live in the UK and you don't get Sky, it'll be on Channel 4 at, I think, about 11 o'clock on Sunday. Yes, the last one was on at 10 to 1 in the bloody morning, but this one's on earlier. Looking forward to 2 hours sleep and a Norris bottle job on Sunday. Yes, me too. Me too. Oh dear. But you never know. He's still got a chance, everyone. Lando Norris, world champion 2024. I don't know what I'm going to do because I've already made up the t-shirts. Yeah, I've got them all in a big pile over there. I've already made them up. What am I going to do? It says Lando Norris, world champ. Oh, God. I'll just sell them on eBay, I suppose. Might get a couple of quid for them. Anyway, that's it from me. Thanks, everyone. Awesome, as always. Enjoy the Grand Prix on Sunday. I'll be back also with the All Seasons on Sunday as well. So, thank you, everyone. For me... Oh, almost forgot. Everyone's favourite bear, Mr. TB. Even though Mr. Will F1 has decided not to join us tonight. Yes, he decided not to join us tonight. I don't know what he's up to. The bear's got something in his ear. Hang on. What the hell's that? Oh, it's a piece of plastic. I think he had a tag on him and it's stuck in his ear. Anyway, here we go. TB the bear. Who's TB going to be voting for? Yes, we know. Lewis Hamilton. Yes. He's a die-hard Lulu fan, he's old TB, aren't you? Yes, indeed. But anyway, as Will's not here, we'll still say hello, Will F1, because he might watch the stream later on catch-up. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, and if anyone wants to comment on this stream, as I say, I set up showing adverts in the stream. If anyone saw any adverts during the stream, please let me know in a couple of hours after the stream's processed to tell me if any adverts popped up during the stream. Because as I say, Jimmy Broadbent tried it and he said it was unwatchable. So if that's the case, next week I will turn the adverts off. It's just an experiment because they asked me whether I wanted to switch it on and I went, oh, go on then. Go on then. But as I say, knowing YouTube, they've probably gone ridiculous and put adverts in it every 3 minutes. So there you go. Norris is not winning the title. Even I've given up on it. Yes. Yes, and Mr. Bra is a die-hard McLaren fan. Yes, it's very hard just being a McLaren fan, let alone being a die-hard McLaren fan. It's difficult. It's tough. It's tough. It really is. It's tough. I bet he wishes he was in 1998 and it was easy. It was easy being a McLaren fan in 1998. Oh, look. Mika Häkkinen's won again. Woo! Woo! Oh, look. He's won again. Woo! Woo! Oh, my God. Coulthard's hit him. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Look at the face of Mika Häkkinen on the podium when he was doing the champagne. Classic. Absolutely classic. I love that. Anyway, that's it from me. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. And I will catch you in the next video.